I sat at the table, staring at the food, watching it grow cold the same way my heart had. It was my birthday today, but it was also Horace's birthday, Christiana's close male friend. I opened Horace's WeChat moments, and sure enough, there was a brand new post. Grateful for having you by my side every year on my birthday. Let's promise to celebrate every birthday together from now on. The photo showed two hands forming a heart over a cake. One of those hands was Christiana's. She was wearing the necklace I had given her. I tapped the like button, set my phone down, and threw all the dishes Christiana liked straight into the trash. Then I went to a restaurant and ordered the food I enjoyed, celebrating my birthday alone. From now on, I would make sure every birthday belonged to me. Chapter 1. Halfway through my meal, Christiana called. Her voice carried a hint of panic. "Claude, you saw Horace's post, didn't you?" "I saw it. I'll come back after celebrating his birthday. Next year, I'll spend it with you. Be mature, don't throw a tantrum, okay?" In the past, that would have been enough to send me into a meltdown, arguing, pushing, begging. But not anymore. "All right," I replied calmly. The next morning, just after 7 a.m., my phone rang, but it stopped after 3 rings. I picked it up and saw it was Christiana. She had always been too lazy to unlock the door with her own key, so she'd call me instead. 3 rings, then hang up. No matter what I was doing, I would rush to open the door for her. But today? No. I tossed the phone aside, pulled the covers over my head, and went back to sleep. She knew the spare key was under the shoe rack by the door. After staying up until 3 a.m. packing the night before, I was still exhausted. The phone rang a few more times, but I couldn't be bothered to look. I don't know how long I slept before I heard the door open, followed by the loud bang of it hitting the wall. Then the bedroom door flew open. Christiana's furious voice exploded into the room. "Claude, why didn't you open the door for me? I called you so many times. You know I hate using the key." I opened my eyes and looked at her with no sadness, no joy, nothing. I was too tired to hear it. She looked like she wanted to say more, but eventually she just muttered, "I'm hungry. Hurry up and make me some porridge. I didn't sleep all night, and I need to eat something before catching up on rest." Before, I would have jumped up immediately to make her breakfast. But today, "I'm tired too," I said. "Go buy yourself breakfast downstairs." Her face tightened with anger, but she forced herself to hold it in. "Are you still upset about me not being there for your birthday yesterday?" "No. You're overthinking it." She didn't believe me. Horace is like a brother to me. His parents passed away early. If I don't celebrate his birthday with him, who will? Don't be petty. If you keep acting like this, I'll really get mad. "You're right," I said softly. "You should be there for him. I'm not upset." Unable to fall asleep again, I got out of bed and went to the bathroom. Christiana grabbed my hand and pulled out a red string bracelet from her pocket. "Here, stop being mad. This is your birthday gift. It's your zodiac year, so I remembered to get this for you." I stared at the cheap red string and its tiny metal charm. It looked so casual, like something picked up at the last minute. I felt ridiculous. I had thought her frugality these past months meant she was saving up for something meaningful for me. Turns out I was just fooling myself. I glanced at my wrist. The watch my mom had sent a few days ago gleamed there. "Thanks," I said, "but I already have a watch. It's inconvenient to wear this. You keep it." Christiana's temper cracked. "You say you're not mad, but now you're rejecting my gift? You used to be so happy with whatever I gave you. Now you're being picky." It was true. Christiana didn't earn much. Her birthday gifts were always simple, sometimes costing just a few dollars, sometimes nothing at all. And I had never complained. Just a week ago, I'd given her a gold necklace. But I was tired, too tired. I took the red string back and slipped it into my pocket. "Thank you." I changed clothes and headed for the door. "Where are you going?" she demanded. "To play basketball with friends." Ever since getting together with Christiana, all my free time outside of work belonged to her. Shopping with her, entertaining her, taking care of her. I had no time for myself. Not anymore. From now on, I'd live for myself. Chapter 2. After an exhilarating basketball game, my friends and I sat on the benches drinking water. One of them teased me. "We thought you ditched us after getting a girlfriend. We were about to stop inviting you all together." I laughed and apologized. "Sorry guys. That won't happen again. Call me whenever something's going on." "That's more like it. Come on, let's hit the internet cafe for a few games." Since dating Christiana, I couldn't fit into her circle of friends, and I drifted away from my own, always prioritizing her. I revolved around her entirely, putting her first in everything. Looking back now, it felt painfully foolish. When I finally got home, it was close to midnight. Christiana was sitting on the bed, frowning. "Claude, why are you so late?" I had to order takeout for both lunch and dinner. It was awful. I went to the wardrobe to grab clothes. I ate at a restaurant today too. The food was pretty good, just as good as home cooking. Her eyes widened. "You used to say you'd cook for me every day, so I wouldn't have to eat takeout because it wasn't clean." "I was wrong," I said calmly. "In this world, if you can't cook, you have to get used to takeout." Her anger flared. "You still say you're not mad. You didn't call or text me the whole day, and you didn't come home to cook for me." "I'm not mad. I was just out with friends. My phone died, so I didn't call." Christiana stomped out of bed and grabbed me as I tried to leave. "Can't you just be more open-minded? I already told you Horace and I are just like siblings. What's your problem, Claude?" My patience has its limits. I gently pulled my hand free. "I'm really not upset. I'm just tired. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight." I took my clothes and headed to the bathroom. She shouted from the bedroom, but I ignored her. For the first time in a long time, I slept well. Christiana moved constantly in her sleep, kicking the covers off several times a night. I used to wake up repeatedly to tuck her in. The next morning, she sat in the living room, arms crossed, clearly waiting for me to apologize. In the past, I would have. Every time she was upset, I would grovel, even when I didn't think I was wrong. Then she'd present her list of demands. This cycle had lasted for years. I was done. I got ready and walked out. I had something important to do. Chapter 3. I submitted my resignation at work. My manager was shocked and tried to persuade me to stay, but I was firm. I had taken this job to be close to Christiana and take care of her. That reason no longer existed. Last night, I had video called my parents and told them I planned to quit and move back home. I saw the tears of joy in my mother's eyes. My dad's health had been declining, and running the small grocery store alone was becoming harder. Back home wasn't exactly a small place. It was a coastal third-tier city, small but lively. Christiana was from the north and loved spicy food. She always refused to visit my hometown, saying the cuisine didn't suit her. That was why I'd left my parents to find a job here in the first place. That evening, I invited my friends out for dinner and shared my plans. They agreed it was the right decision. My parents' health mattered most. After a few drinks, someone asked, "What about Christiana? Is she willing to move back with you?" I fell silent before letting out a bitter laugh. "No. I think we'll break up." I had once dreamed of building a home here with Christiana and eventually bringing my parents to live with us. But now, that dream was gone. I was returning to the one place where I knew I was still welcome. When I got home that night, Christiana was in a white dress, her hair down, makeup perfect. She was on a video call with Horace. Over the speaker, Horace said, "Christiana, you're so gorgeous. Even in a simple white dress, you look like an angel." Christiana giggled, covering her face. "Really? You're still as sweet as ever." I stood silently in the doorway. That simple white dress wasn't simple at all. It was the one I had bought for her with a month's salary. When Christiana finally noticed me, her smile vanished. She told Horace, "I'll talk to you later. I'm heading out now. Grab something to eat while you wait." She could laugh with Horace, tease him, show him warmth she never gave me. She looked at me with disdain as she walked past me to put on her shoes. I knew what was coming, the silent treatment. She had used it countless times, always because of Horace. And every time, I used to panic and beg her to talk to me. Not this time. I calmly carried the groceries into the kitchen and made myself a late-night snack. I'd had too much to drink earlier and barely eaten. Over the next few days, I stayed busy with work handovers and packing. My belongings slowly disappeared from the apartment, but Christiana didn't seem to notice. Chapter 4. Today, Christiana went out to meet Horace again. I sat at the dining table scrolling through my phone while eating. Horace had just posted on WeChat moments. "Whenever I feel lonely, you're always there for me. I'm so grateful." The photo showed Christiana and Horace leaning their heads together, flashing peace signs at the camera. Her friends filled the comments with hearts and admiration, praising their bond. For a long time, her friends had believed Christiana and Horace were more suitable for each other. They loved the childhood best friends story and saw me as the outsider ruining their perfect narrative. And as I stared at the photo, I suddenly felt maybe they weren't wrong. They did look more like a couple than just friends. In the past, I used to endure it for as long as I could before gently reminding Christiana to keep a little distance from Horace so people wouldn't misunderstand. But every time I said something, her friends would sneer, accusing me of being controlling and suffocating her social life. Christiana never once defended me. Instead, she joined them, telling me I was restricting her, that I should give her more freedom. On Horace's post, Christiana had commented, "And you're always there for me too." Seeing that, I simply exited WeChat with a strangely calm heart and got up to clean the table. Outside, thunder rumbled. A storm was rolling in. I stepped onto the balcony to bring in the clothes just as raindrops, heavy like beans, began hitting the windows. Back then, rainy days used to send me into a panic. I would call Christiana nonstop, asking where she was, offering to bring her an umbrella, because the thought of her getting even a little wet made me worry. But she and her friends mocked me, saying I acted like a nagging mother, worrying too much and ruining their fun. This time, I didn't care. I showered early, lay down on my bed, and scrolled through short videos until I fell asleep without even realizing it. The loud slam of my bedroom door jolted me awake. Christiana stood there, furious. "Claude, it's pouring rain outside, and your girlfriend hasn't come home yet. You're not worried at all? If it were my friends' boyfriends, they'd be blowing up their girlfriends' phones, asking where they were, or heading out with an umbrella. And you?" Chapter 5. I stared at her, confused by her anger. A memory flashed in my mind, another rainy night, when she had been out with Horace. I had called her several times, asking where she was, when she'd be back, offering to pick her up. She had exploded back then, accusing me of worrying for no reason, insisting Horace would bring her home, saying I couldn't tolerate them spending time together, claiming I was using excuses to force her to come home early. She said my controlling behavior was suffocating her. Now that I was finally giving her the freedom she wanted, she was angry that I wasn't picking her up. I honestly didn't know what she wanted anymore. So I answered calmly, "You're with Horace. I have nothing to worry about. You two can stay out as late as you want. He'll bring you home safely." Christiana's eyes widened. She must have been shocked that I mentioned Horace so calmly, even encouraging them to stay out late together. A moment later, she seemed to think of something and quickly explained. "Today is the anniversary of Horace's mother's death. He's feeling really down, and as a friend I couldn't leave him alone. Don't overthink it." I nodded. "I get it. On a day like this, he needs company." My calmness left Christiana speechless. She stared at my face, searching for even a trace of anger, but she found nothing. Her tone softened. "Claude, I bought a new nightgown. It's black lace. Why don't you take a look and see if it suits me?" I glanced at her, surprised. This was as close to a peace offering as Christiana ever made. In the past, she always held her ground until I begged and pleaded for reconciliation. I pretended not to understand the deeper meaning behind her words. "There's no need. If you like it, that's all that matters. Go back to your room and get some sleep." Chapter 6. Christiana stared at me like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Then she stormed out, slamming the door. I got up quietly, closed the door gently, and went back to bed. That night, I slept peacefully. The next morning, my friend Lucas called. He had just returned from a business trip and, hearing that I was heading back to my hometown, wanted to meet one last time since chances would be rare in the future. His words made my chest tighten, but I agreed. Just before hanging up, he added, "By the way, bring Christiana along. I won't call her again." He was right. Lucas wasn't just my friend. He was Christiana's friend too. In fact, he was the one who introduced us. But the way he said it made me realize that keeping my return home a secret wouldn't last much longer. My personal matters were still unresolved, and I didn't want complications. After hanging up, I saw Christiana coming out of her room. I hesitated, then told her, "Lucas wants us to join him for dinner tonight." She looked hesitant, about to respond when her phone rang. She answered softly, "Horace, don't worry, you won't lose it. I'll come over and help you look." Then she quickly changed her shoes and said, "Claude, Horace needs my help with something urgent. You go ahead and have dinner with Lucas. I won't be joining you. Just let him know." That evening, Lucas and I had just clinked glasses at a crowded food stall when Christiana walked in, with Horace right behind her. For a split second, our eyes met. Christiana looked awkward, surprised. Horace, meanwhile, gave me a grin that felt more like a challenge. Chapter 7. Christiana approached us, still uneasy. "What a coincidence. You're here too." Horace pretended to apologize. Christiana saw I was hungry and suggested bringing me here. "Hope we're not interrupting." Lucas clearly didn't remember Christiana refusing the dinner invitation. Delighted, he invited them to sit and called the waiter to add more dishes. Christiana seemed ready to sit beside me, but I stood up and moved to sit next to Lucas, leaving the seat across from me for her and Horace. Her friends had always said she and Horace were more suited for each other. Watching them now, I finally believed it. I didn't want to stand in the way. Christiana looked nervous. A few times she opened her mouth as if to explain, but each time someone interrupted. I focused on chatting with Lucas, while my phone kept buzzing with WeChat notifications. During a quiet moment, I finally checked my phone. Messages from Christiana filled the screen. "Claude, don't overthink it. After helping Horace find his stuff, he suddenly wanted to eat at this stall, so I brought him here. I didn't know you were here. If you don't like this, I won't do it again. After dinner, let's go home together, okay?" I lowered my head and replied, "No need. You and Horace can leave after dinner. I want to chat with Lucas a bit longer." Then I put my phone down and ignored the new notifications. A few drinks later, Lucas was drunk. He threw an arm around me, eyes red. "Why are you suddenly going back to your hometown? You're my best friend here. If you leave, who am I supposed to drink with?" Pain stabbed through my chest, and tears stung my eyes. My parents are getting older, and their health isn't great. I need to be with them. I paused. "Your company is expanding along the coast, right? When you're on a business trip there, I'll treat you to drinks." Lucas didn't say anything. He just raised his glass again. Across from us, Christiana must have overheard. She stared at me, eyes wide in shock. Chapter 8. Christiana turned to Lucas in disbelief. "Lucas, what did you just say? Who's going back to their hometown?" Lucas, drunk, took a second to respond. "Claude's going back. Didn't you know? I invited you two today as a farewell." Christiana shot up and pulled me aside into a corner. I leaned against the wall, meeting her gaze silently. Her eyes were red, tears close to spilling. Finally she spoke, voice trembling. "When did you decide to go back? Why didn't you talk to me about it?" I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to wipe her tears. "I decided while video calling my parents on my birthday. You were out celebrating with Horace and didn't come back all night, so I didn't disturb you." Panic flickered across her face. She stepped closer and grabbed my hand. "No matter what, I'm your girlfriend. You should have told me first." I looked at her in surprise. All this time, I'd always told her everything immediately. But she'd always been impatient, telling me, "You're a grown man. Stop being so indecisive. Why do you need to ask me about everything? I'm not your mom." She took a breath and asked carefully, "How long are you planning to stay there?" I hesitated, deciding not to tell her everything yet. "A few months at first." Christiana froze. "A few months? Why that long?" I lowered my head without answering. She sighed, looking at me hopefully. Let's leave together later, okay? I wanted to refuse instinctively, but then Horace walked over, reeking of alcohol. He grabbed Christiana's hand casually, almost too comfortably. Christiana, what are you doing over here? After dinner, come with me to buy some bedding. Christiana shot me a guilty look and tried to pull her hand back, but he held on. She explained softly, we grew up together. It's just how we are, like siblings. There's nothing else. I nodded. I get it. Horace shook her hand again. I had a few extra drinks. My head spinning. Come with me to get the bedding. I threw up last night and messed up the bed. If I don't change it, I won't have anywhere to sleep tonight. Chapter 9. Christiana looked helpless. Stop shaking my hand. I'll go with you. She once told me she hated people who drank. When I had a drink, she wouldn't even let me near her, much less help me change sheets if I vomited. But with Horace, she didn't seem to mind at all. Christiana looked at me. Claude, you and Lucas keep chatting. I'll go with him to buy the bedding and change it. I'll come right back to take you home. I took a step back. It's fine. He needs you more than I do. I'll just take a cab home later. Christiana tried to grab my arm, but I stepped away and walked quickly back to my seat. I said goodbye to Lucas and arranged a cab for both of us. Just before getting into the car, Lucas, who had been drinking heavily, suddenly became unusually clear-headed. He smacked my shoulder and said, Christiana's been going too far. Her thing with Horace must have hurt you. Huh? Sorry, brother. I shouldn't have introduced you to. My throat tightened, and I couldn't stop a few tears from slipping out. I quickly turned my head, so he wouldn't notice. All these years, Christiana had left me again and again because of Horace, and I thought I had gotten used to it. But Lucas' words instantly shattered the careful facade I had built. Turns out, I was still hurting. I used to have so many good memories with Christiana, but over time, after too many arguments because of Horace, those memories faded. I pulled myself together and smiled at Lucas. It's not your fault. Lucas sighed. It's not yours either. Try to move on. I nodded, helped him into the car, and watched it drive away, just like how my past with Christiana was slowly fading. As soon as I got home, Christiana called. Claude, Horace isn't feeling well tonight, so I won't be coming back. I need to stay and take care of him. Chapter 10. It was the first time Christiana had ever proactively told me she wouldn't be coming home. In the past, whenever I asked who she was with or when she would be back, she'd get angry and accuse me of trying to control her. I would always end up coaxing her for a long time before she calmed down. This time, I didn't ask anything. I just replied softly, Okay. Christiana continued explaining. His stomach's not good. If I don't take care of him, he might end up in the hospital. Don't overthink it. I'll be back first thing tomorrow morning. I answered just as calmly, Okay. Christiana seemed like she wanted to say more, but then I heard Horace calling her name in the background. She hurriedly ended the call with, Don't think too much about it. Once his stomach feels better, I'll be right back. Then she abruptly hung up. I couldn't help but let out a quiet laugh as I stared at my phone. I had been drinking more than usual with Lucas and was starting to feel dizzy and nauseous. I went to the bathroom and threw up several times before I felt a little better, though my stomach was still hurting. It was only then that I remembered my own stomach had never been great. I had drunk too fast and hadn't eaten anything beforehand. I forced myself to find some stomach medicine, but couldn't wait for the water to boil. So I swallowed the pills with cold water and lay down in bed. That night, I tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. By dawn, I finally drifted off for a little while. The next day, Christiana didn't return until the afternoon. When she walked in, I was cleaning the house, which had gotten messy after being neglected for a few days. Surprisingly, Christiana walked over and tried to help me clean. Let me help you, she said. I looked at her, puzzled, and shook my head. It's fine. I'm almost done. Since we got together, I had always been the one doing all the housework. She never helped. Christiana put her hand down, looking almost nervous. Horace's stomach's been bothering him again. He doesn't take care of himself, so he keeps getting sick. I stayed up with him last night to take care of him. I'm exhausted. I nodded. That sounds really tough. Christiana looked awkward, probably not expecting me to be so calm. After a moment, she hesitantly asked, Claude, I've been thinking, what if I go with you to your hometown? Chapter 11. Her suggestion surprised me. In the past, whenever I mentioned wanting her to come with me during a long holiday, she refused without hesitation. She would complain about long train rides, say she'd get motion sickness on a plane, or complain about unfamiliar food and language barriers. There was always some excuse. If this had been before, I would have been thrilled. I would have helped her pack, booked flights, handled everything. But now I simply replied indifferently, no need. You have work. My trip isn't certain anyway, so don't trouble yourself. Her smile froze for a moment. Awkwardly, she said, then, I'll just wait for you at home. I didn't answer. Christiana then asked, it's my best friend's birthday tonight. Why don't you come with me? Again, I was surprised. She had never invited me to her friends' gatherings. Her friends always looked down on me, and she usually brought Horace instead. I refused. No, they won't be happy if I show up. A flicker of discomfort crossed her face. Why not? You're my boyfriend. They won't mind. I just looked at her quietly until she lowered her head. Guilty. I remembered when one of her friends mocked me for not being as good as Horace. I had begged Christiana for support, and she brushed it off, saying, you're not as good as Horace, but since you're my boyfriend, you need to handle my friends on your own. Don't expect me to do everything. But the truth was, their attitude toward me depended entirely on her. If she respected me, they wouldn't have dared to belittle me. I gathered the trash and headed downstairs. I'm busy tonight. Ask Horace to go with you. Christiana stared at me, shocked, like she never imagined I would refuse her and tell her to take Horace instead. She grabbed my arm, nervous. Where are you going tonight? Let me go with you. Chapter 12. I explained, I've finished my work handover, so I don't need to go to the office tomorrow. I'm planning to have dinner with a few colleagues I'm close to, just to say goodbye. It'd be better if you attend your best friend's birthday party. After hearing that, Christiana didn't insist. Instead, she asked cautiously, if you're not going, should I really call Horace? I smiled and nodded. Go ahead. Christiana studied my face, clearly trying to find some trace of jealousy. But she wasn't going to find any. Don't you feel even a little jealous? She asked. I found it ironic. She was the one who hated it when I got jealous. Now that I wasn't jealous anymore, just like she always wanted, she was suddenly uncomfortable. What's there to be jealous about? You've always said you two are like siblings. Besides, he's closer to your best friend, so it's natural you'd go with him, right? Christiana looked like she wanted to say something, but didn't. Instead, she reminded me, come back early. And if you're drinking, call me. I'll come pick you up. I thought for a moment and nodded. I knew I'd be drinking that night, and it was nice of her to offer. It would save me a taxi fare. After dinner, I called Christiana. The music on her side was loud, with people laughing and talking. I hesitated. I'm done here. Is your party still going? Maybe I should just take a taxi home. Christiana quickly stopped me. No. I said I'd pick you up. Just wait. I'll tell them I'm leaving. Right then, I heard someone in the background shout, Christiana, hurry up and take Horace home. He's drunk, lying on the floor, and won't let anyone touch him. He keeps calling for you, hurry. Christiana hesitated. Claude, do you mind waiting a bit longer? I'll take Horace home first. I forced a smile. It's fine. Go take him home. I'll just grab a taxi. She immediately clarified. Claude, don't worry. Once I drop him off, I'll come straight back. There's nothing going on. I know. Go ahead. I'll get a taxi. After hanging up, I called a cab and went home. After washing up, I lay in bed. Then my phone rang. Christiana. I answered. But before I could say anything, I heard Horace whining on the other end. Christiana, don't leave. My stomach hurts. Can you rub it for me? Chapter 13. Christiana sounded helpless. Horace, stop messing around. I have to go back. Claude is still waiting for me at home. Let him wait. It's not like he's never waited before. Christiana, my stomach really hurts. Can you really bear to let me suffer like this? Christiana sighed. I really can't deal with you. Is it here? Does this feel better? Yes, right there. It's getting better, but can you rub it a bit longer? I listened without expression, then hung up. The call must have connected by mistake. I watched a few videos on my phone, then turned it off and went to sleep. Christiana didn't come home that night. It was almost noon the next day when she finally returned. She changed her shoes and walked toward me, explaining. After I took Horace home, his stomach problems flared up again. I took care of him until late, so I didn't come back. I ended up sleeping on his sofa. I just responded with an uninterested and kept looking at my phone. She came closer and tried to take my hand, but I pulled away. Christiana couldn't take it anymore. Her emotions burst. Claude, I really can't stand your indifferent attitude anymore. Can we sit down and talk? Isn't this fine? I asked, genuinely confused. I didn't interfere with her life. Wasn't that exactly what she always wanted? Then why was she upset? Christiana seemed to finally understand something herself. Is this because of Horace? I stayed silent. She clenched her teeth. If you don't want me in touch with him, I'll cut ties with him. Just, please, can you stop acting like this? Her eyes were full of desperation and hope. In the past, no matter how much we argued, she would never cut ties with Horace. But now she was willing to say it so easily. What I had wanted for years was finally in front of me, and yet my heart felt completely still. I answered flatly, no need. It's your right to be friends with anyone. I had no right to interfere, at least that's what I told myself. But when I said it out loud, Christiana's expression immediately tightened with panic. Claude, do you not believe I'll really cut ties with Horace? I'll call him right now. Before I could respond, she was already pulling out her phone. She dialed Horace, switched it to speaker, and waited. A moment later, his voice came through, casual and overly familiar. Christiana, are you home? Already missing me, after just getting back. My chest tightened. Christiana shot me a panicked glance, then lifted her voice quickly, cutting him off. Horace, stop talking nonsense. I called to tell you that we shouldn't stay in contact anymore. My boyfriend doesn't like it. Horace's tone exploded with disbelief. Christiana, what do you mean? How can you do this to me for that petty Claude? Christiana shot back instantly. He's my boyfriend, and you're not allowed to talk about him like that. We won't be in touch anymore. That's it. She hung up before he could answer, and immediately turned the phone over so she wouldn't have to look the calls that started coming in again and again. Then she turned toward me, trying desperately to calm the storm she felt coming. Claude, look, I really have cut ties with Horace. Don't be mad anymore. Let's be good from now on, okay? I just stared at her, shocked, honestly. I hadn't expected her to be so decisive. I had planned to bring up breaking up after I left her place, but the moment had come sooner than I thought. So I took a breath and spoke slowly. Christiana, you don't need to do all this. I think it's better if we... Before the word break up even formed, she rushed forward and covered my mouth with her hand, refusing to let it be spoken. Her lips trembled, her tears falling one after another. Before, whenever she cried, I would immediately reach for her. My heart would ache with hers. I'd wipe her cheeks, pull her into my arms, and stay with her until she smiled again. But this time, I didn't lift my hand. I simply watched quietly. Claude, let's go back to my hometown together, she whispered, then wrapped her arms tightly around my waist, pressing her face to my chest. Her tears soaked through my shirt in seconds. I thought my heart was impenetrable by now, covered in thick armor from all the hurt. But somehow, even then, it ached deeply. Slowly, painfully, I lifted my hands and pushed her away. My voice felt heavy in my throat. I'm sorry, Christiana, but we should break up. She clung to me again instantly, shaking her head through her tears. No, Claude, I don't want to break up. I don't want to be apart from you. I gave a bitter smile. You should be happy. There won't be anyone bothering you anymore, no one holding you back. Now you can be free. Christiana cried harder, her voice cracking. No, I was wrong. Claude, please, let's not break up. I won't say you're controlling me anymore. I won't contact Horace again. Please just give me another chance, please. but I forced myself to harden my heart. Christiana, don't say that. We're from two different worlds. Now we're just returning to our own. I'm tired. I'm so tired of these past years. I pried her hands off me one by one, walked to my room, and left her sobbing outside. I didn't go out again. Chapter 15. The next morning, I dragged my suitcase toward the door. When I opened it, I found Christiana asleep on the sofa. Her face was still streaked with dry tears. I picked up a thin blanket nearby and gently draped it over her. Then, barely above a whisper, I said, "Goodbye." At the train station, my phone rang Christiana. Her voice was frantic, breathless. "Claude, where did you go? Why are your things missing?" I didn't want to answer, but she had once been the woman I loved deeply. That softened me enough to press the call. My voice cracked. "Christiana, I'm leaving. I wish you all the best from now on." She instantly broke down. "Claude, how can I be okay if you leave? Where are you going? Don't leave. Wait for me, please. Wait for me to come with you. Take care." With that, I hung up. She kept calling, but I didn't answer. Messages came next. "Are you at the train station? I'm coming now. Wait for me." "I've arrived. Where are you?" I didn't reply. I dragged my suitcase forward and joined the boarding line. As I stepped through the entrance gate, I heard a piercing cry behind me, so loud it cut through the entire station. "Claude." My footsteps paused for a moment. Just a moment. Then I walked forward. A few days later, I was at the supermarket near my new place, checking items on a shelf. Suddenly, I heard a trembling voice behind me, one filled with sobs. "Claude." I turned slowly. It was Christiana. She had lost weight. Her face looked tired, worn down, hollow. "You weren't just coming back for a few months, right?" she asked, her voice barely steady. I nodded gently. "Yes, I'm not coming back." Her eyes reddened instantly as she choked out. "Why did you lie to me?" I gave a small, bitter smile. "You've lied to me countless times. I'm only lying to you this once." For years, she had lied to me over and over because of Horace. Every lie had cut me open. Now she was finally feeling even a fraction of what I had felt. Tears streamed down her face as she pleaded, "Claude, can I move here and be with you?" I closed my eyes for a moment, then opened them again, my voice firm, sharper than steel. When disappointment piles up long enough, it turns into despair. "Christiana, we can't go back. Let's part on good terms." I watched her take a shaky step back, her lonely figure looking smaller with every breath. Then she turned and walked away. Her silhouette faded just like the memories I've been holding on to, slowly, then completely. From now on, she and I would continue through our own separate worlds, never again part of each other's lives.